Hello, I'm David Armstrong and welcome to highlights of the Thrustmaster Australian Formula Master and a Corsa-based league hosted by RaceDepartment. Round 4 of the season takes place at the famous circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, a favourite for many of the drivers. 18 laps of the 7-kilometre long course would be no easy feat, and it was Ben Dow who set the fastest time under qualifying, taking his second pole in a row from son Levi, who was just 2/10 down. Chris Stacey qualified comfortably in 3rd place, ahead of Matthias Machado, who again managed to get himself onto the second row of the grid. Justin Talent recorded his best qualifying result of the season to start in 5th place, edging out Evan Spall in 6th. Tony Benelli took 7th place, but only by 1/100th of a second ahead of Ashley Cowan in 8th position. Dutch driver Frank van Overen got himself inside the top 10 alongside German Toby Ketterer in 10th place. To the race start, Dowell and Levi both got off the line evenly, but Stacey had a bad launch and was forced to stay inside to cover off Talent. The field made its way around La Source without incident and few position changes. Van Overen had pipped Cowan for 8th and his redshift teammate Michael Stead had beaten Spence for 12th. Out of Eau Rouge, son Levi had a perfect run, drafting behind Ben Dowell and easily getting ahead down the Kemmel Straight. With a whole car's length over Dowell, Levi looked to have the pass wrapped up, but Dowell broke incredibly late and somehow kept his car to the inside line, completing a bold move to retake his first position. Frank van Overen was also able to gain a place, passing Tony Benelli through Le Combe for 7th. Lap 2 and Frank van Overen made a meal of the Eau Rouge exit, slipping on the curbing, getting the wobbles but somehow regaining control and keeping his car out of the barriers. The mistake cost him 2 positions, with Benelli advancing back up into 7th and Ashley Cowan passing van Overen down the straight for 8th. Further behind, Michael Stead had a front row seat for the showdown between Ketterer and Pyatt into Eau Rouge, with Pyatt wisely yielding the corner to Ketterer. However, with Pyatt instead having lifted off the throttle, Noel Spence and Jeremy Talbot were able to use their momentum to get alongside on the Kemmel Straight. Spence moved ahead Pyatt before the braking zone, but Pyatt seemed unaware that Talbot was also on the inside, and into Le Combe the pair made contact, leaving Locklear nowhere to go as Talbot was sent flying off the track and into the sand. Pyatt was able to continue, as was Locklear, but Talbot was left helplessly beached in the sand trap. Into the bus stop chicane, Frank van Overen was able to attack Ashley Cowan under braking, with the Dutch driver completing a simple pass for 8th. The resulting concertina effect backed up the drivers just behind, with Noel Spence now on Toby Ketterer's rear wing. Spence challenged Ketterer into La Source, and although the move didn't stick, Spence was able to stay alongside down the hill. With neither driver willing to back out, the pair would go into Eau Rouge side by side, but sadly Spence lost control over the inside curbing, slamming into Ketterer and sending him hard into the barrier. Ketterer's day was immediately over, while Spence had avoided the walls and was able to continue with only light damage. In the race lead, Ben Dowell was slowly pulling away from son Levi, with Dowell consistently adding a few tenths to the gap each lap. Chris Stacey was in 3rd position, but was under some pressure from 4th place Matthias Machado, who was setting slightly faster lap times. Just behind, in 5th place, Justin Talent made a mistake through Le Combe, jumping on the throttle too early and sliding out of control. Talent did well to keep his car from spinning, but would lose out to both Spall and Benelli, dropping him down into 7th. Frank van Overen was quickly onto Talent's rear wing, but on the next lap, Van Overen again made a mess of Eau Rouge, losing grip at the top of the hill, sliding out of control and ploughing into the tyre barriers. Just behind, Ashley Cowan was unable to avoid Van Overen's stricken car, clipping the Dutchman and destroying Cowan's suspension, also forcing him into retirement. Through the carnage, Michael Stead had now found himself up into 8th position, ahead of Wayne Flint in 9th. Noel Spence had recovered, running in 10th place, with Jack Trooper in his highest position so far this season in 11th. However, Trooper would unfortunately make a mistake through Stablo, carrying too much speed into the corner, running wide and spinning his car. Matt Bailey would now slip into 11th place. After a dreadful start, Bailey had also found himself in his strongest position so far this season. At the front of the race, and as the tyres started to degrade, Ben Dow seemed to be running an even pace with son Levi. the gap was hovering around the 3-second mark, with both Dowell and Levi churning out near perfect laps. Levi couldn't close down the gap, but was certainly keeping Dowell under plenty of pressure. In third place, Chris Stacey was also feeling the heat. Matheus Machado had narrowed the gap down to just 1 second, but with the grip levels falling away, Machado seemed to fade slightly, and a couple of tiny mistakes was all that was required to give Stacey a little more breathing room. Evan Spall and Tony Benelli were holding strong in 5th and 6th respectively, the two teammates on par to take some big points for Spinelli Racing. Justin Talent remained in 7th position ahead of Michael Stead in 8th, but halfway through the race Stead made a mistake, carrying too much speed into Lecombe and spinning his car across the track. Unfortunately, as he rejoined, he made contact with backmarker Fred Locklear, who was expecting to be left room. Wayne Flynn fortunately avoided both cars, moving ahead of Stead to take 8th place. Taking his second win of the season, Ben Dowell completed a perfect race with pole position, the fastest lap and the race victory, a necessary result to keep his championship hopes alive. Despite putting in some amazingly quick times towards the end of the race, Sun Levi would have to settle for second place, finishing a mere 1.6 seconds off the race winner. And crossing the line in third, Chris Stacey finished on the podium for the third successive time with another impressive race. Matheus Machado completed his best result so far to finish in 4th place, the Brazilian demonstrating he has the pace to challenge for the podium. Evan Spall recorded another strong result to finish in 5th, along with teammate Tony Benelli in 6th place, Spinelli Racing picking up another big points haul. Despite a few mistakes, Justin Talent brought his car home in 7th, achieving his best result so far this season, as did Wayne Flint, finishing in 8th place in just his second event. Michael Stead crossed the line in 9th place, and Noel Spence brought a damaged car home to finish in 10th position. To the driver standings now, and with just 1 round remaining, Sun Levi is oh so close to sealing the championship victory. With a 21-point lead over Ben Dowell, Dowell must not only win the final round, but also hope that Levi finishes in 8th or worse. Chris Stacey is now mathematically unable to take the championship, but is still a chance to take second place. Evan Spall has jumped all the way up into 4th after today's result, though there are only a few points separating the remaining driver positions. Jamie Pyatt has dropped into 5th, Michael Stead remains in 6th, and Matheus Machado has leaped into the top 10 and into 7th position, while Armstrong's continued absence has dropped him down into 8th. Tony Benelli remains in 9th, with Toby Ketterer rounding out the top 10. Looking at the team standings, and the final positions are far from certain, with the final round likely to shake up the order. Pit Stop Predators are just 6 points ahead of Basement Tank Motorsports, with Aurora Racing 15 points behind in 3rd. Spinelli Racing has moved clear into 4th place, with Grandpa and Grandson leapfrogging 3 teams after today's good results, moving up into 5th. APR, Redshift and Slow Motion all dropping 1 position. We hope you've enjoyed this presentation. I'm David Armstrong, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the 5th and final round of the Thrustmaster Australian Formula Master.